Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Planning Advisory Board meeting of September 12th, 2024. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Member Cliff Tribina.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Secretary Zeig, would you please call the roll?
Yeah? Thank you.
Chairman Stanko.
Here?
Member DiLeonardo,
Here?
Member Chabina,
Here.
Member Warner,
Here.
Member Castellane,
Here.
Member Zeig, I am present. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum to proceed.
Okay, thank you. Format for the meeting this evening includes presentation from the applicant, questions and comments that the board may have, and then any interested parties may address the board and regarding the application, and we ask that anyone who wishes to speak to please come up to the podium, state their name and address for the record, and address the board. We have two agenda items this evening. The first is 320 Central Avenue, Bethpage, New York, 11714. The applicant is seeking a site plan approval from the Planning Advisory Board in accordance with the town's site design standards. This site plan application involves the demolition of two commercial buildings, 300 Central Avenue, 1,992.3 square feet, and 320 Central Avenue, 2,521 square feet, and the construction of a two-story, 16,003 square foot place of worship with associated site improvements. The proposed use for the property, subject property, is permitted. It's a permitted use pursuant to Chapter 246, Table 5.2 of the Code of the Town of Oyster Bay. At the July 18, 2024 Planning Advisory Board meeting, the board adopted a motion to close the public portion of the meeting and leave the record open for 30 days for the public to comment. All of the testimony given during the aforementioned meeting, as well as the correspondence received, will be considered by the board prior to rendering their decision. Okay, any correspondence or any comments, Mr. Zeig?
No, Chairman. Matter of fact, this item on the agenda was actually for the board to render a decision on the application. However, I would like to make a motion that the decision be postponed until a later date when the Planning Advisory Board convenes.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
I'm sorry, who second?
I did.
So a motion was made by Member Zeig to postpone the decision on the 320 Central Avenue Bethpage matter to a date later for the Planning Advisory Board. Motion was seconded by Member Warner. May I have a vote, Chairman? Stanko.
Aye.
Member DiLeonardo.
Aye.
Member Chabina.
Aye.
Member Warner.
Aye.
Member Castellane.
Aye.
Member Zeig. That's 6 ayes. The decision for 320 Central Avenue Bethpage will be postponed to a later date.
Okay, thank you. Next item is 80 Jericho Turnpike, Jericho, New York, 11753. The applicant is seeking a site plan approval from the Planning Advisory Board in accordance with the town's site design standards. This site plan application involves proposed seasonal and year-round outdoor staging, storage, and vehicle rentals for an existing retail business with associated site improvements. Okay, application.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is John Armentano. I'm a partner with Farrell Fritz, representing the applicant, which is Home Depot.
Oh, excuse me. We're sorry you didn't get that. You came?
That's okay.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry. Okay,
That's all right. And we're here tonight on behalf of Home Depot. We have additional affidavits of posting that I believe are to be submitted for the record. We have some written documents, which we are also going to show you on the screen tonight. I'm here with Chris Robinson from R&M Engineering to take you through the site plan that we have prepared. This is a site plan amendment. This previously was approved back in 1994 with COs. There have been several variances granted for the subject property.
Just for purposes
Yes.
of the board, Chairman, you mind if I read out the correspondence that
Oh,
we
I'm
have for
sorry.
this?
Correspondence, yes.
Just real
Sorry,
quickly,
asked-
I apologize
That's
for
all right.
interrupting your...
Yeah, I usually ask for that. Go ahead.
Just so
Yeah.
you know, Chairman, for this particular matter, There's a memo from the zoning division dated June 21st, 2021, stating that the subject property located at 80 Jericho Turnpike, Jericho, New York, has a Nassau County land and tax map designation of Section 17, Block 16, lots 35 through 41, including Lot 48, and it's located within the neighborhood business and general business zoning districts. This board has a memo from the Department of Environmental Resources classifying this project as a Type 2 for the purposes of SEQA. There is a memo from the Code Enforcement Bureau stating that there are open code compliance cases on the subject property for structures without permits, violation of site plan, outdoor storage, and non-maintenance. There's a memo from the town's Department of Public Works and the Engineering Division stating that they've reviewed the site plans, have no further comments or objections. There's a memo from the New York State Department of Transportation stating that they have no objections to the application proceeding. We have a correspondence from Keith Holloway, Nassau County Department of Public Works, dated February 29th, 2024, stating that there is no further review that will be required under New York State General Municipal Law 239F. A memo from the Nassau County Planning Commission dated August 7th, 2024, recommending local determination for this project. There's a memo from the Planning Division dated August 1st, 2024, stating the required off-street parking for the subject property is 1,095 parking spaces, whereas the applicant is proposing 577 parking spaces. There's a memo from the Planning Division, also dated August 1st, 2024, stating the division has conducted a review of the site plan in accordance of Chapter 246, Section 6 of the Code of the Town of Oyster Bay, and hereby refers the site plan to the Planning Advisory Board for the appropriate action. Finally, an affidavit of sign postings and an affidavit of mailing is on file with the department from the applicant, and that completes all the correspondence, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. All right, go ahead.
All right.
Thanks. Okay.
And as I was saying, well, I'm here also with Chris Robinson from Robinson Engineering, or R&M Engineering. Again, this is a site plan amendment for proposed seasonal and year-round outdoor staging of materials, as well as storage and vehicle rental storage. As I'd mentioned before, and we'll go through the slides, this property benefits from a 1994 CO for the property and had received several variances for other activities on the property with regard to the issues on the site. Again, it's a 14-acre site. It's located it's a split zone. We have a rendering, and we've worked extensively with the planning department to come up with a plan that will have the facility operate and flow in the best manner for the Home Depot, because and I've heard there are some other open violations. We have rectified the prior violations. I'm sure we will be rectifying the new violations as part of this application and whatever other proceedings take place in that regard. I will have Chris walk you through the site plan, and then we can follow through with some of the drone shots, because we have taken some very recent shots of the property. I'm sure you've been at the site as well, so I hope it reflects what you saw at the subject property. But with this, a picture's worth 1,000 words. I'll let Chris add a few more words to the site plan, how it's designed to flow, and we'll obviously answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Good evening. Chris Robinson, President of R&M Engineering, doing business at 50 Elm Street, Huntington, New York. As Mr. Armentano mentioned, we work quite a lengthy process working with Mr. Zeik and Mr. Byrne from town planning to come up with a plan that works for the town as well as Home Depot. I think we all know how a Home Depot operates, and they get a lot of materials in. It gets stored outside. Some gets moved into the building. We also have areas where there's seasonal sales outside. It had been in front of the zoning board many years ago to do a tent area and an area for plants in the parking lot. That's represented by the green rectangle that's kind of in the middle of the north side of the property. We've reconfigured some of those areas as part of this application. After working hard with the planning department, we reached this plan, and then we implemented the plan in the field so that we could have it inspected by town staff to see that it is actually working properly and that Home Depot is complying with it. So I'll walk you through the plan a little bit. We have a couple of different colors on there, and I'll just let you know what the colors stand for. The green area would be the seasonal sales and product. A lot of that is staging of mulch, plants, soils, and other seasonal goods. That's located primarily in the rectangle just due west of the garden center, and some of the larger bushes are stored along the service road just north of that along the property. The large green band that runs along the outside of the garden center is more of the staging area where it comes off the trucks. These are generally palletized things that are stored there before they're brought into the garden center or out to the sales and display areas. The bright yellow, which is kind of to the southwest corner of the property, there's the tire, tool, and rental center, which is a 5,000 square foot outbuilding that's in the parking lot. There are some bright yellow areas adjacent to it where equipment that is being offered for rental is stored there, and the area behind it, one long row of parking just south of where the Staples formerly was, also contains trailers and some of the larger towable equipment that's rented at Home Depot. There's also a shed display area on the north property. It's a little hard to make out. It's pink. It's just north of the rectangular plant area. And then we have the staging areas which run along the back of the building and the south side of the building. These are the areas as Home Depot gets deliveries on the lumber truck. It's usually a large flatbed truck. It'll pull in the southeasterly driveway, right turn in. Generally, that truck is either going to go straight and park there or turn to the left where there's one-way parking in the westbound direction. The forklift comes out of the building. It's going to remove the material, put it on the ground. Once the truck leaves, we've created areas along the south side of the building and along the rear property line where these large materials can get stored before they're brought into the building and put into the racking that we all know of at Home Depot. The property, as Mr. Armentano mentioned, is about 14 acres. This building's been open since 1994. The parking requirements, including the areas of outdoor sales and storage, is 1,095 spaces. It's about 208,425 square feet. The Home Depot building itself is just about 155,000 square feet, a little less, which is the 127,000-foot building plus a 27,000-foot garden center. We also add on the 5,000-foot tool and rental center and the currently vacant Staples building, which was a little over 22,000 feet. All of the materials and all the colored areas we show on the plan require parking at 1 per 200, which is 1,095. We're currently proposing 577 spaces, which is a reduction of about 60 spaces from the prior zoning board of approval that permitted up down to 628 when the first outdoor sales area was proposed. This 577 spaces is more than adequate to support the Home Depot. My firm did some parking calculations or parking study back about 4 years ago at this point when we first started the application, and show that Home Depot utilizes about half the amount of paved parking that's available. On a weekday, the worst time, peak time, appears to be around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They were operating at about 49% of the available parking. On Saturday, very similar time as the peak time, around 2:30, about 51%. And on Sunday, again, around the same time, it's a little earlier at 2 o'clock, at about 58%. So we have significant amount of available parking on the property to handle the increase in the outdoor sales and storage and to allow the Home Depot to operate in a more efficient or an efficient manner where we can manage the personnel at Home Depot to maintain it in this manner. And as part of that, I think the last slide, this map, which is called an operating restrictions plan. This is a plan that we prepared for Home Depot. It's based on the plan that's in front of you for approval. This gets mounted on a large scale, put inside the warehouse and inside the manager's office, so that the personnel that operate Home Depot have a map to follow. You have to follow the plan. We've maintained the red area, which is the truck and fire access to keep the 26-foot wide aisles available and open at all times, to show where they can store materials outside, stage materials outside before they're brought into the building, and where they can do the sales and keep them contained. Since we developed the plan a little over a year ago, they've been maintaining it very well. The drone photographs that were taken by personnel from my office last week, it matched pretty much identical to the plan that's in front of you. We didn't see any deviations from it, other than some material that had just come off the truck, which they were in the process of relocating, and that's at the top of the screen. They're showing some lumber right along Jericho Turnpike, and in several of the photographs, you can see the forklift picking it up and moving the materials into the building at that point. So we're here really to create a plan that gives Home Depot the criteria to operate, that gives the town comfort that Home Depot can operate and will operate with those constraints, and we're asking the town for approval. We know we have to go to the zoning board after this to secure the updated parking variance, and we'd like to see this board approve the site plan or recommendation for the approval of the site plan.
Could you go through those
Sure.
photos? Okay,
Sure,
thank
which,
you.
which, the
Just
colors,
go-
the
just
different,
Scan through them,
sure,
because you have a
sure.
lot of photos there.
Yeah, the photos, I'll be happy to go through the photos, so I'll start from the beginning here. So this is the map we talked about. The green is the seasonal sales. Bright yellow is the equipment and materials that are rented by Home Depot through the Tula Rental Center. And it's hard to make out, but along the building, there's more of a brown or a tan color, which is the staging area. Here's a view westbound over Home Depot showing the parking lot as it was occupied Friday afternoon last week.
What time was that?
It was at about 5 o'clock. The green area on the right represents the rectangle that was on the plan, which is a lot of the seasonal flowers and planting materials. That's that picture right there of the flowers and planting materials. Again, on the,
Orange cones blocking the road on the north side?
at this point, there were some there. They might have gotten some deliveries. For the most part, that road is open unless they're staging material out there where they,
No, what Mr. Castellane is asking, if you look closely in that photo, because I was there at 5:30 tonight.
Yeah.
There's cones blocking off traffic circulation in that one area. If you're looking on there now,
absolutely, I can see them in the picture on the right there.
it's been like that for weeks.
That is against the plan, and we definitely will work on Home Depot to remove that. That's intended to be open for parking and traffic circulation,
And fire.
and fire circulation, yes.
Can you just go back to that other plan? What is in the area closest to the store, there's some blue, and then it looks like something else? What is that?
It's outside the zone.
That's because that's outside the area in question.
Matter of fact, the majority of those plantings are outside the fence line as well as of 5:30.
Yeah.
Where you see that fence line enclosing that garden area, there's also a lot of material and stuff stored outside that fence line as well.
And that's what I'm looking at, on
It-
both sides of the opening,
Yeah.
there seems to be storage
It's-
in the right-of-way.
Is there a reason why the garden center that was approved years ago can't support the garden or seasonable material that's out in the middle of the parking lot now?
The garden center here, this is one of their older buildings. It's 27,000 feet altogether, which is about 10,000 square foot inside, roofed over, and about, I think it's 17 exterior. It's just not large enough to handle the material. They seem to sell a lot of plant material here.
But wouldn't it be more to their advantage to add an addition or do something other than take up required off-street parking where it's already deficient?
Well, we're deficient in the required amount of parking. There's certainly the need for a Home Depot is significantly less than that. It's really half of really what's required. This garden center, as it's shown here, this area of flowers had already gone to the zoning board at the last approval. It was part of that. It's very similar in the configuration and the size. The area, even though it's outside the fence on the north side, is part of the plan. It meets the area that we do show on the plan. It's hard to make out at this scale, but it goes all the way out to that drive aisle on the north side.
Right, but again, the fence line it goes out to that.
The fence line, I think it's inside the box.
All right, then it's portrayed wrong on the site plan.
Yeah.
Because again, when I was there, that fence line either went up to where that was, or they just decided to put stock on the outside of that fence. Because that really impedes upon traffic circulation.
Yeah, the fence line is intended to be at the drive aisle, so it doesn't impede on circulation. It doesn't appear from this picture that it is out past the drive aisle. I don't know exactly where the fence is. It appears that the fence is inside the green area that we've laid out.
If you look where those cones are, that lines up to where the fence line is.
Understood.
Can I ask another question?
Sure,
And again,
absolutely.
I wholly understand the purpose that we're here is for site plan only, not
Yep.
use. What is your client plan on doing with that vacant Staples building?
I don't have an answer for that. They did have it available for lease. At one point, they pulled it. At one point, there was going to be an application here for a self-storage facility. And we
Correct.
talked to them, and that was pulled. I do not know what the current status of it is going forward.
Why, I'm going to ask it, why can't Home Depot utilize that building for their seasonal outdoor stuff and rental? It's there, it's unutilized, and they would think it would be a great solution to having all this outdoor storage. Because aesthetically, it just looks very poor on Home Depot's part, in my opinion, to have material, especially along Jericho Turnpike. And, you know, if this board looks upon this application, what stops other businesses then from storing stuff outside? And then it's just one giant outdoor storage city along Jericho Turnpike.
No,
What-
understood.
I mean, I don't understand. If Home Depot is outgrowing the size of its current building, they have 22,000 square feet that's empty where they could put the rest of their overstock.
Right, the problem with that, and we have discussed this with them, the issue is, it's a detached building, so you having the trip traffic just bringing things back and forth sets up a forklift disaster. So the idea here is to centralize it in the existing building. I understand there is a vacant building there. We could look at the issue, but from my understanding and speaking to Home Depot, the issue is circulation becomes challenging, and Chris, maybe you'll elaborate on that more, but that is a significant issue for operations.
But then operationally, in my opinion, and again, I know I'm not here to discuss use, maybe that building gets demolished and Home Depot does an addition to consolidate. They're deficient almost 500 parking spaces. From my own personal interest, and I'm not speaking for the board, I took a trip there again this afternoon before this hearing. The traffic circulation's poor. As I was going along that back part where they're unloading the material, as I came along to go around the generator, there's an overhead bay door there where a guy operating a forklift just backed right out. I almost hit right into him because I couldn't see around the generator. And if that wouldn't occur if you didn't have all the material stacked up against that fence line. And I think it just sets a bad precedence where you're coming to ask the board to approve a site plan where the site plan application and site plan rules and regulations are established to aesthetically enhance a property. There's nothing being enhanced here other than Home Depot wants to add additional stock outside. There's no additional landscaping, and all the variances that you're going for based on the planning review, it's insufficient parking, the display of merchandise outside, outdoor display exceeds 15% of your indoor floor area, there's no outdoor storage of goods, spaces lack a 6-foot planted buffer, the parking lot lacks a 6-foot planted buffer, overall lack of shade trees, and an overall lack of landscaped islands. So all Home Depot is coming here to do tonight, and I know you two are professional, they're asking for the proverbial 10 pounds in a 5-pound bag. It's just too much. If they've outgrown the site, maybe it's time to come back and redesign the site so it actually works in terms of storage, keeping stuff inside, traffic flow, pedestrian flow. The other thing too, you're keeping materials outside. What prevents from rats, mice, and stuff from congregating and living under all this material?
Did want to respond a little bit to your question.
Sure, I'm sorry I
Yes,
threw a lot out
that's
there,
fine.
but, you know, that's all the stuff I'm thinking of.
All I
That's it.
wanted to do is see the pictures.
I know, we got sidetracked.
Sorry, Chairman.
We'll definitely go through more of the pictures. They seem
All
to
right.
have created a question, which I think we can answer and attempt to make you feel comfortable. Just with respect to the parking, there was a variance granted in 2003 for a reduction to provide just 628. So I just want to say, we're not down half, we're going down slightly more.
Well, you're going down, but at the same time, you're producing more gross floor area for sales merchandise, which increases the off-street parking, so it's kind of twofold.
No, I do
You're
understand.
taking away the existing, adding gross floor area, which increases the parking while you're taking it away. So it's a double-edged sword.
Correct, and that's where we'd like to discuss that with the zoning board, right?
Again,
Yes,
that's up to the zoning board. But
Correct.
again, from a site plan standpoint, it just doesn't lend itself, it's not conducive to have all this merchandise and staging all outside of a building and a business that's supposed to keep everything inside. The zoning board, in my opinion, granted relief already for off-street parking and all that, and looking at an application where all Home Depot wants to do, and it's not specific to Home Depot, the property owner wants to do is add a more intense use by increasing the off-street parking demand by taking it away at the same time.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying, and you understand why we're here, to articulate and to come up with a possibility for taking other designs here, right? We're not here just for approve it or nothing, right? We're here to take back the feedback. The understanding also, and we'll go through some of the pictures, is the concept of staging. We've used this in the past. It's not storage, and it does not stay. I mean, the outdoor garden center, it stays until it moves, but the other concept, and Chris can elaborate, is it comes in, it can't be put right into the store. It must stage for a period of time. We're giving them locations to stage, which is a difference than storage, and then it begins filtering in, and that's why, and we've been speaking to Home Depot as well about slowing the demand drops, right?
But realistically,
Yes.
you keep calling it staging, even if you don't want to call it storage, is they get one shipment. And again, I live in Oyster Bay, I've been here my entire life. Every time I go past that Home Depot, there's always a constant flow of materials along that back fence line and along that building in front of Jericho Turnpike. I just think aesthetically, it's just a poor look and a poor business model to have all your material stored out in the open like that, open to the elements, weathering away. What do they do during snowstorms? They have out snow blowers, they have out ice melt, they put out material still for contractors. It's just, in my opinion, just bad aesthetically and just not conducive to proper planning and having proper traffic circulation on the site. And I've
Understood.
stated that in the past, and I'll still state it now.
No, I've understood, and we've had this conversation many times. I expected this as well. So just, I do think that they have made drastic improvements to the site. We've come a long way. I'm not saying we're not done yet. I guess that's the sense I'm getting from the board, and we appreciate that. But there's been, since we've been working on this, there's been dramatic improvements to the site. I'd hope you would
Well,
agree.
I'm just one member. I mean,
Yes,
you
I
still
know.
have 5 other members. I mean, I don't know their thoughts, but
That bottom
I'll obviously
area, on
defer to
that
them.
first picture, that bottom area is striped. That picture you have up there.
This one?
Yeah, what is the, and that's striped, why is that striped?
Striped in the drive aisle?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was part of the original plan, that they indicate that's where their pedestrian crossing is, leaving the building there at the garden center, going out to the parking lot.
the slanted stripes, that right around.
Oh, on the concrete along the
On the-
face of the building, yeah,
Yeah.
that was also part of the original approval there. In fact, the other picture before, man, it's getting tough to see on that scale, but the whole apron in front of the store is flush with the pavement, it's a concrete apron. They crosshatch you there, telling people it's not to be parked on, but it's an area that's available for people to come up, load their car as they leave, and then leave,
Oh, to load their car.
to load their cars.
All right, so back up one. So if you have that other, do you have enough room to park there, load your car
Yes,
with all
yeah.
that stuff there, and then have a drive aisle?
Yeah, the drive aisle in that location is, it's over 30 feet wide at that point, not including the flush concrete
Okay, so
area
that
that's
is not a fire, don't park here.
No, it's not a
for
fire, it's
truck.
for Home Depot, no park here, loading only for their
Okay,
cars,
all
yeah.
right, okay. All right, so go ahead, continue. You got some good pictures. Oh, wait, Cliff.
While we're still on that
Sure.
spot, during certain seasons, I've noticed when I've been there, that in that area, parking area, the sidewalk area, carts are rolled out there, with plants for sale and so forth, that'll fill that area. Is is that something that's gonna continue then? Because that seems to go seasonal. I don't know what the season was from where, but how long are those aisles kept blocked by?
They do vary throughout the course of the year. I mean, Home Depot's Christmas is Mother's Day weekend. When the planting comes out, and when you're at a Home Depot Mother's Day weekend and those couple of weekends before and after, that's the time when most of the plant material's out there. That's when the carts of annuals are rolled out of the garden center and put on that area. That's why we've incorporated on this plan those areas in green along the face of the building we're parking for. We're considering it part of the retail area to handle that. Then there's a period of time during the summer where a lot of that goes away. And as Mr. Zeig mentioned, it come the winter, I see snow shovels and bags of road salt and snow blowers and that kind of stuff gets brought out to the front, for the sale. People,
But it's ironic because it says seasonal, March 15th through September 30th. So if that's seasonal, they're still putting stuff out there in the middle of the winter then.
yeah, and we're counting this parking as the whole time, yes.
So it's not really March 15th through September 30th.
One of the
You-
locations, I think there's a distinction as to which location is the seasonal time frame.
Well, you
No,
have
no,
like-
that's right. March 15th to September 30th is the plant season area.
Right,
yes.
but in that area, I see them put out snow blowers, shovels, ice melt, and everything in between. So it's not just those handful of months, it's year-round.
Yeah, perhaps there should be a plan added that shows how far does that area reduce during the other parts of the seasons, which is significantly less. We looked at the peak time, which is this summer, this March to September is the peak time.
What about Christmas trees? Don't they go there also?
They do, but they do them right in that same area right there. The Christmas trees are done in the parking lot.
Yeah, where it's more frames.
Yeah,
So it's possible that it'll continue to be blocked on certain occasions for certain events, at certain times?
exactly. This one is pretty much year-round here, this area.
But again, it's highlighted on your site plan as being March 15th to September 30th.
Understood. That needs to be corrected, yes.
You said you have 577 spaces now?
Yes.
Is that including the ones with the cameras in them?
With the cameras?
The security cameras, that'll take up the spots?
They're on a trailer?
Yeah, they're movable. I mean,
Immovable. I don't know what we counted at that point, if they were included in it. I'm not sure offhand.
When we look at the photo that's up now, I mean, we've reviewed and approved or whatever, many site plans. And the town has certain regulations as far as the site plan and landscaping especially. And most of the time, these long islands of parking are broken up with a concrete aisle and some vegetation, a tree or something like that. I mean, I know that this was approved in, 1994? So I'm sure that the requirements weren't as strict back then. But, I mean, aesthetically, I mean, we're just looking at a sea of parking, I mean, we like to see trees, where, where it breaks up the monotony of parking or whatever.
Look right over here in this
Do you have a
They got snow blowers
plan
in this
on
corner
this that shows us the landscaping
See
on the
down
site?
all the way on the left.
Yeah, we do have a landscape plan. I don't know if it's up here. It's in your book?
Those are rentals.
I mean,
Which
even
day?
on
Those are
the,
rentals.
even
Those
on
are
the
rentals.
major roadway, that entry roadway, I mean, there's nothing. All it is just concrete curbing.
Yeah, this site plan does predate the updated regulations that would normally require that now with the buffer along it and the
Understanding that,
the
yeah.
longitudinal islands in the parking lot. It predates that by many years. LP1, yeah.
so that would be, we just introduced the booklet, exhibit 7 in the booklet as a complete set of plans that does have P1 as the plan.
Yeah, primarily the landscaping, the islands, most of it exists over by the Staples end on the far west side of the site. Staples was added at a later point, I believe. There are islands in the middle of the parking lot, but for the most part, they're concrete islands. There's not a great deal of landscaping along the Jericho frontage. and they did plant street trees all along the service road frontage.
I know you do have a landscaping plan, I'm looking in here for it.
It's Exhibit 7.
7?
It's in the booklet,
It's about the third or fourth, the fifth plan in on this 7 tab.
The tab is L1 on the bottom right.
What is it, SP what?
LP.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm just trying to compare this with what I'm looking at on the screen. And you said that these photos were taken at
Last Friday, about 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock?
Yeah.
That's probably the slackest time that,
Yeah, the
Home
peak
Depot
time
would
based on the
have.
traffic counts is
because,
more
I mean,
3
you know,
o'clock.
5 o'clock is dinner time for everybody.
Yes.
No, we were not, I just want to be clear, we weren't taking the pictures for the purposes of showing traffic counts. We wanted you to see the sign at the top. You were going to be there, we wanted to give you the aerial of the existing. I'm not suggesting we're trying to hide a parking issue.
I understand that, but I'm looking at the amount of parking in the lot, and, I mean, on the very few trips that I make to Home Depot, I mean, there's a heck of a lot more cars parked there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 12 o'clock, you know, whatever.
No, understood.
Understood, yeah. Yeah, even from our data back from 2020, it shows that at 5 o'clock on a Friday, there were 250 cars parked in the parking lot versus 323 at 3 o'clock, so certainly more parking. There's 70 souls or so.
What's next to that first island where the slanted crosswalk leads over to it?
That's their propane exchange cages in that, that's in that rectangle. They
Oh,
have,
okay.
you can go to the tool rental center, bring your empty propane can, give it to them, and they'll give you a full one.
Okay. All right, yeah, go ahead.
Let's put, see if they have any questions. This is the southerly end of the front of the building, between the tool rental center and the front, and the entrance. Same area, just from the north. We have area of some tool rental equipment that's stored head-in against that 5,000-foot building, both on the east side and the north side. Jericho Turnpike's at the top of the screen.
On this picture here, you have diagonal parking sort of coming in on the rendering, and it's straight on here.
Yep.
I see the way it's stored now. Are you planning on having more storage than on this side?
No, this is the storage is shown on here is what we were proposing, and the angle parking is a proposed condition. It's currently at 90-degree parking, proposing to remove the lines and relay it out as one-way angled parking.
So you'd redo the lines then?
Yes, yes.
Fair enough. And there's also storage in the parking area too on this picture?
There is in this picture here,
That's the one I'm looking at.
at the top of the screen in the middle, there was some lumber there, and when we were there, they were actively had a forklift picking the material up and bringing it to the storage. So it must have just come off the truck before we got there.
The items that are, the other items stored there, how long do they usually stay outside of those particular areas?
How long the items stay?
Before they're moved,
Maybe within 48 hours.
and all of them are moved, every piece is moved, if there was fencing there or fertilizer or something, they don't get moved inside eventually? It's just a standing period of time?
Correct, eventually will come into the store.
Eventually, like a couple days? Or
You want to identify yourself for the record?
My name is Alejandro Baca.
What's your affiliation with the application?
I'm a development manager for Home Depot.
Okay.
Okay. No, I'm just looking at the amount of items that are stored there now, and wondering how long they sit there before they're able to be displayed inside the building. And I was wondering, are all these items going to be eventually displayed inside the building or within a reasonable period of time?
Eventually, yes,
All of it does get moved?
correct. Yep.
So you're always with the forklift along there, bringing items in and out?
Right, especially during at nighttime when there's no customers inside the store for safety reasons.
And the delivery trucks come down this aisle and drop it off as close as, I guess, to the building at that point?
Right.
Forklift takes over?
Correct. Now, there's certain items like mulch storage. Those items will stay outside.
They would. yeah.
Correct.
Is there any reason why Home Depot won't store the stuff at a different location warehouse and then as it's needed, bring it in?
They do at times when it comes very hectic, but unfortunately, these items that get sold and customers, they demand it. That's the reason why so much comes into the store.
But again, to this quantity? So the stuff that's out here and that's along Jericho Turnpike, that's stuff that gets sold within how long on average?
It depends on the high season, I will say, how long do you think? Yeah.
Just for the record, my name is Peter Monti. I'm the Home Depot Construction Manager for the Northeast region. The materials you're seeing over on the Jericho Turnpike side, they are dropped as they come off the flatbed trucks. That material is then worked its way back into the store. Usually within a few days, it's worked back into the store as the stock inside the store is then sold out. So then it gets reloaded back in.
But again, no one seems to answer the question. Why can't this be stored off-site and then a day before when you're running low, hey, we need a new shipment of stockade fence, drop it off in the morning?
There is no large distribution center within a reasonable distance from the store. So to restock the store from another off-site distribution center just is not operationally.
But then the expectation for Home Depot is for the residents in the areas, is sacrifice aesthetics for the purpose of storage. I just don't see what the trade-off is. Why it has to be stored outside. I mean, Home Depot is a rather large corporation. I find it hard to believe they can't find storage for their material rather than being outside.
No, understood. I guess the point would also be, we would now be having an ancillary off-site location. I'm not sure the zoning code applies to that type of use in particular. So I'm not sure that there could be an off-site location to handle the overflow. Like I said before, there is nothing, to my knowledge, in the code that allows just for that to exist.
It's called a warehouse. I mean, if
we'd have
Home
to-
Depot built a warehouse in an LI district and then had a storage facility where they drop it off, pick it up, and then deliver it to the store, you don't need any zoning board approval. It's just you find a light industrial piece of property, build a warehouse, and that's where the storage is kept, which is a permitted as of right use. Storage is not permitted outside in a general business, neighborhood business district. It's permitted in light industrial. But again, the hard thing I'm having a problem with is aesthetically driving down Jericho Turnpike, coming from North Hempstead into Oyster Bay. This is the first property you're really going to see entering Oyster Bay, and this is not, in my opinion, why site planning was created, was to create it so you could have outdoor storage of materials right along Jericho Turnpike, the entryway into the town of Oyster Bay.
No, understood, and also to the point, we're amending a site plan that was approved. I know things
But
have
that site plan
changed.
did not include outdoor storage.
Correct, and I'm suggesting we're not storing, it's staging. I know that we may defer on that.
Storing, staging, if it's out there for 48 hours and replaced right after, it's storage.
Understood, but that's, again, a question, I understand this is a site plan arena, that is a
But the
zoning.
site plan arena takes into account traffic circulation, aesthetics, and how the site is laid out.
No, I understand that.
So this is our arena.
I understand it's your arena, and also the idea of the storage component issue is also with,
Storage is a use, and I acknowledge that. That requires special use from the zoning board of appeals.
Right.
I acknowledge that. I'm saying it right now on the record. But in terms of how it's laid out, the fact that you're putting it in a parking lot where it's not conducive, in my opinion, to traffic circulation, aesthetics, and just overall site appearance, that's not why site plan rules and regulations exist in Oyster Bay. Again, I said it before. We're here to aesthetically approve properties here in Oyster Bay. Just because it looks commercial, just because it's used commercial, doesn't mean it has to look commercial. Mr. Warner had a great point before about the shade trees. You're introducing all this stockpile, merchandise and storage, but I see 0 new trees being planted. Where's the offset of new landscaping? There is none. You're just increasing the demand for off-street parking on a site that's already overutilized for what its purpose is for. And again,
Understood.
that's use, But again, in terms of the aesthetics and layout, I just don't see
No,
the
but
need
to the
for it.
point, if there is a desire to have more landscaping, we would take that suggestion from this board. We've submitted plans, we've been working in concert with the town to establish this plan to come to this board. If this board has concepts that they want us to further explore, we're very happy and willing to do that. And if the idea is you want more landscaping islands, more shade trees, that's something we would consider. Then we'd have to go for more parking variances, right? There's that balance that we're here for, so that's
Yeah,
what
but again, the solution, in my opinion, is there. Home Depot owns property with a vacant building across the lot. They have the ability to put their merchandise in there. Just because they make a business decision not to do it, doesn't mean that the residents of Oyster Bay, from an aesthetic standpoint and a site plan standpoint, have to suffer to look at their merchandise outside when they have viable options to do.
No, I understand what you're saying. We're not zoned to put it exactly in there if we're going to use the zoning of the LI, but I was talking
It's
about.
not LI, it's retail. If you're going to be selling stuff, that's a retail use in an NB district.
We will again explore that with Home Depot, but just to the point I thought I was making with the landscaping islands, we're looking to also, we're talking more about aesthetics before, so I wanted to focus on the aesthetic comment. If this board is inclined to have us look at, or if you want us to look at further designs that aesthetically soften the site with plantings, that's something we can consider and take back to Home Depot and modify the plan. I think we're perfectly willing, I think we would do that.
I think the way to soften the site is to get rid of the outdoor storage.
I understand your point.
It's all, they both fall into aesthetics,
Yeah.
just two different areas. Okay, you want to?
If we go there right now, these, it looks like 2-inch 4x8 formula boards that are shrink wrap. They're not there right now because this was taken last Friday. So if I go there right now, those shrink wrap pallets aren't there.
I was there at 5:30, those shrink wrap pallets are still there.
There are pallets and products that, things that came out on Friday may be out by today. It may have been replaced on Monday with material that's going to be out by Thursday. It is a constant flow.
So it's not 40.
It may not be that shrink wrap pallet, there's probably another one in its place.
I think I want to be clear, we're saying 48, it's the same thing, that moves 48 hours, then the next same thing
So it's there
arrives.
consistent.
Well, the product
It's just
type,
not the same exact piece of
Correct.
merchandise, the same product number and same storage location.
I would say that.
Yeah, there's a rotation of the product coming in. So some of that product that you see on the side of the building will work its way into the store. So for example, if there are 4 bunks of lumber on the outside of the building on Monday, for example, Wednesday, they may be dropped down to 2, but then Thursday, another delivery comes in, and now you're seeing 3 or 4 bunks back out. Different bunks, because that
But
inventory
it's
is.
consistently in the same spot on Jericho Turnpike.
What we're proposing along the side of the building is, yes, it's using that along the side of the building.
So it's never going to be clear.
Depending upon the time of the season, I mean, obviously, in the winter, we don't have a lot of lumber coming in, so there's not going to see lumber bunks on the side of the building during the wintertime, as an example.
Doesn't Home Depot open themselves up to a rather large liability with all of this storage or stacking right next to where their clients or their shoppers park? I mean, listen, I worked in construction, I used to go to the lumber yard all the time. And any lumber yard that you go to, you can't walk in the back. If you want a pallet of whatever, they bring it out to you. You can't walk around a lumber yard, Riverhead or whatever. I mean, now you're intermingling this. I mean, you know, pallets are at times unstable. Also, you know, I mean, this looks like there's like 4 or 5 high on it. I mean, if you get a huge gust of wind or something, you know, I mean, people could be out there, and, I mean, I'm just, from my standpoint of liability, I would not park over there for the simple reason of that. For fear that, you know, something might fall, damage my car. I mean, these pallets are shrink wrapped, but sometimes the shrink wrapping fails. All of a sudden, the whole pallet is all over the ground.
Understood, and that's one of the reasons why we work to rotate that inventory back into the building as quickly as we can. We've got it up against the side of the building, so that way you're not having customer vehicular traffic on both sides or around it. It's really just going along that one side. So they're kind of coming up, parking on the side, and then that inventory is stacked up against the side of the building. So we do kind of pay attention to that, and from the safety aspect, not only for our associates, but also for the customers. Really, from a shopping perspective, there is no people walking on that side of the building, so they're walking past these to go shop for lumber. That customer activity is really happening on the other side of the building, over by the gardening and the plant area, because that is a type of material where people want to walk up, see it, touch it, feel it, grab, I don't want this plant, I want that plant. So that's why we have that area over in the front, also within a fenced area.
The-
I understand that, but I'm just saying, this, as Mr. Zeig pointed out, I mean, it's ugly to see all of this stuff, pallets stacked up along Jericho Turnpike, which is a major artery in town of Oyster Bay. You know, no matter how you cut it, every time I go there, I mean, that's all I see, is just the pallets.
It is a high-volume store. There is a lot of merchandise that is flowing through that store. If there are suggestions or ways to kind of, as we said before, soften up the site appearance, whether it be landscaping, whether it be fencing, we are open to those suggestions and ideas to kind of,
On Jericho Turnpike.
I'm sorry, sir?
We don't want fencing on Jericho Turnpike.
I was just using that as a suggestion of something that we would be willing to do.
Just one question, though. I mean, towards the front of the building, I assume that's the bottom of this picture, is the front of the building.
Yes.
Where does, where does the truck unload to bring that pallet back to that point?
We have pictures for that. As we take you through, I think we can answer that question as we progress unless you want it.
I believe the truck offloads at the southeast corner of the site where it comes in off the Jericho Turnpike, and the forklift brings it down the drive aisle.
Correct.
So, I mean, it's coming down the drive aisle with cars parked there, with shoppers' cars, or somebody, walking to get to the store or whatever?
The majority of when those deliveries come in are in the very early hours of the morning. So it's usually between 5 a.m. and, say, 7 or 8 a.m. So there's a minimal amount of customer traffic on those sides of the building when those flatbed deliveries are happening and the unloading process has happened. They don't show up at, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon when we've got our high traffic count.
But, excuse me, when you have those items stored there, you might come out with a forklift during the day on occasion to pick the items up and restock it inside the store? I mean, that's a real enabler, inhibits the parking over there if you have a forklift carrying those type of loads back and forth behind their cars.
Most of the restocking happens at night while the store is closed.
But something happens during the day, too.
On occasion, yes, but it's more the exception rather than the norm.
You said that the truck unloads by the southeast corner of the building?
So in this photo, it's the top corner, the top center of the photo. That's the east. Yep. So the top of this, for the top center of this is that eastern drive off of Jericho Turnpike into the back of the building. The trucks will either come one or two ways. They'll either make that right-hand turn and drive along the back side of the building, stop, and then that's where the forklift comes out of the back and then starts to unload that truck. Or when he makes the right, he will then make an immediate left, come up the side of the building, stop over there more towards the back, and that's where the forklift comes out of the back of the building again, through the rear lumber door, unloads the truck on the sides, the truck pulls out, and then they start to work the inventory back in that they can.
So if the trucks are making deliveries in those traffic circulation areas, what's the purpose of having the loading bays in the back? If the trucks are being unloaded in the middle of the drive aisles?
I'm not following your question.
So on your site plan, there's loading bays in the back.
This is primarily the lumber delivery, which comes on the flatbeds. The loading docks do get all your other materials.
No, but-
All the smaller stuff that comes palletized and shrink wrapped all come on a loading, on the tractor trailer trucks, which is in the loading dock.
No, but then my point being is you're taking deliveries in the middle of a drive aisle.
Yes.
Because then there's also an overhead bay door that's back there that you were just talking about, whereas where I almost hit the guy on the forklift backing out.
Okay?
I'm just making a point of fact, that's all.
Yeah,
Where
that's the lumber
so
door.
if that's where that's being unloaded and loaded from, I think again, that's very poor in terms of how you're modeling your traffic flow here. Again, having the expectation of your driver and a forklift guy in the middle of a drive aisle. It's just dangerous. That's the whole purpose of having loading bays in the back. It should all be loaded in the designated loading areas. Home Depot is just taking it upon itself to basically do whatever it wants.
The lumber bays, the lumbers that we have, the 8, 12, 16-foot, in some cases, 20-foot lumbers, do not be taken in through the traditional loading docks that you have on the other side. They don't come in on box trucks, they come in on flatbeds. You've got to grab them from the sides and pick those up. You can't do that through a loading bay on the back of the building.
And that was part of the original store design that is done there, where the lumber trucks come up to the back of the building, unload, and the forklift brings it to what we, as he mentioned before, the lumber door. It's got to be in the lumber alone. You can't bring these kind of large products through the entire store to get to the lumber area.
My point being, though, is that if they're sitting there unloading and loading or whatever, a truck in the middle of the drive aisle, compounding in the fact you have storage there, I just think it makes very poor visibility for drivers that are in the drive aisles making turns and so forth. As Mr. Warner said, danger to those stockpiles falling over. Mr. Jabino was saying if you're trying to park and you have a forklift behind you, I think it's just poor traffic circulation, the way that this is being laid out. And I think it's just asking for too much for the outdoor storage on this site plan. So if you're asking for our critique and our feedback, at least my feedback, the storage, you can't have the outdoor storage. It's just not conducive to what site planning is about here in Oyster Bay.
Okay?
What I'm gathering from what you're saying about unloading the tractor trailers is that area where it says asphalt pavement, which you come right off of Jericho Turnpike, what happens if there's a truck there and the forklift is unloading that truck and there's another truck that wants to come in and deliver? Where does that truck go?
A lot of times what the trucks will do is that they'll continue planned south in that photo down Jericho Turnpike. If that northeasterly entrance is blocked, they'll drive down and then basically drive around the service road and do a loop around the area until they can get back around and get in.
I guess that's good if you know the lay of the land. If you've been there before.
Yes.
But a driver from out of state that's bringing something in that doesn't know that, I mean, you know, all of a sudden you're gonna have a big semi stopped on Jericho Turnpike waiting to get in. I mean, you know, for all intents and purposes, you could take out asphalt pavement and put loading area there. I mean, because that's exactly what it is. But I mean, now that you have changed the striping on the parking along Jericho Turnpike, the customer parking along Jericho Turnpike, now people that are coming in
It's a two-way street.
from Jericho Turnpike and want to use those spots, all of a sudden, they come in, they got a forklift or a truck in their way.
Well, again, the deliveries that happen in that photo on that side of the building are happening in the very early hours of the morning, where people are parking, that are coming in, are parking in the front of the building. They're not looking to park on the side of the building. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why that we try to also schedule our deliveries to when there is the least amount of customer traffic in the building. That's why most of our deliveries happen at night, and/or the flatbed deliveries happen very early in the morning.
And I know we have more pictures, but I know we're getting a clear message from the board, and I know there are members of the public that want to be heard. So I do want to say that we're taking into consideration your suggestions, and what I'd like to say just before any decisions are made, I'm hoping there won't be one tonight, the way things are, but my thoughts would be, you know, the idea here that what we're hearing back from you is, you know, we'd like to explore again with Home Depot the issue of the Staples building as a possible reserve area. I think that's something they should look long and hard at, as is a very good suggestion by this board. Consider some type of landscaping islands in there to the extent that we can. Again, hearing a possible reduction in the outdoor storage staging is an area that, you know, there seems like you said the 10-pound and the 5-pound bag, I get that. We do maybe need 5 pounds in a 5-pound bag, just to use the analogy. But the idea would be also, so I think what we'd like to do, and obviously we'll hear from the members of the public and then again from the board, is to come back and revise this plan based on the feedback that we're getting. I think there could also be the concept, because you're saying that what it looks like along Jericho Turnpike, there may be the ability to screen that in a better way. I mean, again, the site is tight, but there are ways to soften the site, and we'd like to explore that more with your suggestions.
I want to ask one more question.
I just.
Sure.
You know, it's not often that we get a chance to enhance a site like this.
No, I agree. I
mean,
yes.
you know, most of the times it's, you know, people don't come back to do this. And now we're looking to make it a little bit better and a little bit more aesthetically free, you know, make the aesthetics a little better for the town and for the people.
I appreciate it. I come from a planning background. I understand exactly what you're saying to us, and I appreciate your comments. Yes, I'm sure you do. So, yes.
Just one more. So I know you alluded to it about self-storage on where the Staples was a few years ago that was entertained. On the site plan, it still says proposed property line. Is there any reason why that's still delineated on there? Because, you know, this board, aside from looking from the here and now, we have to plan for 20, 30 years from now. And obviously, we don't want to create a situation where if the site plan can be agreed upon, that site disappears, and then all of a sudden, we're back to square one.
I don't know why it says proposed on there. We're made up of many existing tax lots that are there, and I think that's just the internal lot line.
I was just curious to know if there were future plans, because like I said, having the knowledge, and again, this is separate from that board, that this had a potential to be subdivided off for self-storage a few years ago. Was that still the case, because it was still delineated on the site plan? It says proposed property.
It shouldn't say proposed. That's an existing tax lot line that's there.
Okay, but again, it was delineated as proposed property line, as if it was going to be segmented again, and that, again, would raise a
Not part of
question.
this
If that's taken out of the equation, then what does that do?
We're not doing that.
Okay.
Just want to be clear. That's
So wait, before you go, wait. You got hit up pretty good tonight. But what are the associated site improvements, as I read tonight? What did you do? What improvements did you make to the property? Just summarize it on a positive note.
What we have done.
Because we heard a lot about boxes and pallets.
We've
So go ahead.
contained them. Home Depot had migrated into a lot of the perimeter areas for storage, and we've been able to contain their overstocking, especially along the north side of the property, along the service road, and deeper than it was here on Jericho Turnpike. We've been able to consolidate them and get them to operate the store in a more efficient manner. So they could, again, as you mentioned, monitor the stock that's coming and going, so it's not growing outside and staying stable outside. That's one of the improvements that has been done. What we're proposing to do, we've met with the state DOT. We're going to be doing some improvements at that driveway you mentioned there, some sidewalk improvements, striping improvements, fixing some valley gutters. We met with Nassau County DPW. They didn't require any improvements. They blessed the building as it was. We're currently under review with the fire marshal's office. We haven't heard back on that application yet. But we're willing to make a lot of these changes. We do need to work with Home Depot on the idea of the Staples building, and I'll be honest with you, what the bigger restriction, not restriction, but the biggest reticence is to do that is the safety issue. It's bringing forklifts back quite a long distance through the open parking lot, and how to do that in an area that's, rather do that material closer to the building and not have long drives outside with the forklifts through public spaces. But we need to work together to come up with a plan that makes this work better.
But in reality, you are fortunate to have that right at your disposal.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not that far away.
Mr. Armentano and I have talked many times with Home Depot on the Zoom calls, trying to come up with a way to utilize that building in a better in a more efficient manner for the operation.
Well,
I think it lends itself and be more conducive if, in fact, that outer parcel can be utilized. Maybe they think about doing the garden center and the tool rental center over there and consolidate everything over there.
Yes.
Just my,
You could put the tool center here, have your storage for your lumber and all the stuff here in this building where the tool center is now. And you don't have the long drive across the park line, you can still use the Jericho Turnpike where you're using it already.
Absolutely. We've had that conversation, and we're going to revisit them.
because what's the difference in square footage? I know, again, Staples was 22,000 square feet, but your outdoor storage area, year-round, says the one storage area is 11,000 square feet. The display is 350 square feet. The proposed outdoor equipment rental space is 12,000. I mean, right there, you already broke the 22,000 square foot threshold, so it's almost like a wash if they could utilize that building a little bit more
If we
effectively.
can utilize the Staples building in a more efficient manner and do it, it could help tremendously. But
I think it'll be a
we'll-
huge trade-off.
We'll continue to work with Home Depot to try to get that.
That might help your business,
Yeah,
too.
and come back in front of you another time to present those.
Chairman, I think there was people from the
Oh,
public
yeah,
that
we're
wanted
not-
to speak.
no. If are you finished? You want to say anything else?
I think we had gone through just about all the pictures. That's the loading area in the the northeast corner. That's the area looking straight down at the easterly end of the garden center and the driveway onto the service road. So I think that pretty much did all the pictures anyway.
You see why I asked you to show the pictures?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on the application?
Mr. Chairman, members, thank you very much for giving us some time. Before I get into my notes,
Can you just identify yourself for the record?
yep, my name is David Rosen. I'm Vice President of Rosen Associate Management Corp. I'm a partner in South Service Jericho Associates. I am Home Depot's next-door neighbor for the last 25 years on the 33 South Service Road building immediately adjacent to Home Depot on the east fronting on the service road.
So you have the office building that's next door?
The white office building that says Rosen Associates and Complete Suites on the outside. That's us. And, you know, before I get into my notes, I just have to say that there's been a lot of back and forth with, you know, storage of materials. This is not storage of materials. That compromises a very, very small portion. And I have a lot of pictures here, and I do give them credit for cleaning up the site a tremendous amount in the last couple of weeks. It is not reflective of what's been there for the last 25 years. And if you go around the building, you'll see that those outside areas that are being deemed storage, they're primarily used for sales. And there's signs mounted on the building where you can buy things on the south side of the building, on the west side of the building, and certainly on the north side of the building. And with that said and done, I have a lot of pictures also that I'd like to share from previous years and as recently as last week that shows a much different story than, I don't know where they got these pictures at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon with not a single car on Jericho Turnpike, but whatever it is, it is. Anyway, like other properties located within 300-foot radius of the Home Depot, we also received a certified notice of the public meeting about 2 weeks ago. And in an effort to determine what Home Depot was planning, we had paid a visit to the planning department last week to try to get some more information, and that meeting was less than productive. We were sent around to various departments and finally directed to the planning department, where we requested some basic information on the Home Depot site, zoning approval history, and we were allowed only access to view the proposed site modification plan that we're discussing tonight. Although the visit was an attempt to better prepare ourselves for the meeting, we were told the information would be available after it was approved, and furthermore, we were told that if we wanted to discuss it, we'd need to take it up with the head of planning and zoning, whose door was closed and unavailable. We left several unanswered messages since, and additionally, we were told that if we wanted anything, we should request a FOIL, a Freedom of Information, which we did, but we were told it would take up to 25 business days. We weren't sure if it was the intention of the planning board to ask the community to blindly approve something that we're not giving knowledge of, and we were curious as to how the community can opine on Home Depot's plan if basic information is being withheld from us. And from the notice, we can ascertain from the brief inhospitable review, it appears that Home Depot is not requesting a plan to cure existing problems, but only asking that their improper and dangerous use of the property be sanctioned by zoning approval and allow Home Depot to be given leave to continue their bad, unsafe, and illegal practices on the property. I am sure many of the board members over these many years must have passed Home Depot and have noticed the blight on the area. And just to give a summary of what's been happening at the site for years, the entire frontage along the service road looks like a flea market. Home Depot uses almost the entire frontage on the service road for storage of broken store fixtures, building, garden materials, and they, up until recently, had permanent storage sheds, the type that you would buy for your backyard sort of thing. The existing corral fence is broken in many places. The south side of the building fronting Jericho Turnpike looks equally bad, with major heavy construction rental equipment, all sorts of building materials stacked along the building and fire lanes, for what is on a permanent basis, not a rotating basis, and the amount of professionally produced for sale signs on different merchandise that's supposedly storage, that are posted on the building and in the parking lot only adds to an overall flea market appearance. And even if they're allowed, and the question is, are they even allowed to have this type and amount of quantity of signage? They routinely stack building materials higher than the fence separating our properties, causing real concern. They use all the sidewalk space in front of their store for sales area, including in fire lanes and pedestrian walkways. They constantly have trucks idling for long periods of time, which does not help the air quality either. We've witnessed on many occasions undesirable characters loitering in the parking lot, especially closest to the gas station. There was a major garden center addition to their building years ago on the north side, as well as the addition of multiple generators and liquid propane refill facilities. We had never received any notice for these improvements that modified the site plan either. They're currently using at least 60 parking spots for a long-term garden center and have eliminated more than 70 parking spaces for a litany of truck rentals and heavy construction machinery equipment. That's a total of 130 spots at an absolute minimum that's no longer available and clearly in violation of the required parking spaces needed for which the original approvals were granted. The actual number of parking spots lost is much higher when you factor in all the spaces that are lost to building materials, fixtures, sheds, landscaping, and so forth. The parking lot on the north and south side of the Staples building seems to be used for long-term truck parking. And the entire sidewalk surrounding the tool rental building is full of equipment and unpassable to the pedestrian. Drive lanes and entrances are constantly closed to accommodate these outside sales areas for deliveries, adding to what should be our collective concern for fire and safety issues. We have seen too many close call accidents with cars exiting and entering the Home Depot from the service road due to a clear line of visibility. This should be a major concern, especially given the speed that cars travel on the service road. We have witnessed many times delivery trucks unloading merchandise directly on the service road because there is no room or access to the site, and they have also witnessed many times where they close down a lane on the service road to accommodate themselves. The property is constantly filthy, it's constantly ridden with potholes, and we pick up their garbage on our property multiple times a day. It's rumored the 20,000 square foot Staples building is being left vacant to accommodate Home Depot's parking needs. We are also very concerned about the effect a long-term vacancy of this nature is going to have on the adjoining properties in the community. We are concerned if approvals are given as requested, Home Depot will be allowed to cry hardship later for a variance to rent that building at a later date. We don't understand why Home Depot can't use the building for their garden center, tool rental, or storage needs either. It certainly has loading docks and it was designed as a retail building for Staples. It's our understanding that Home Depot is seeking a site plan approval from the Planning Advisory Board for an application to accommodate seasonal and year-round outdoor staging, storage, and vehicle rentals and associated site improvements. We don't understand what it means, but assume they would like to have the unfettered right to do whatever they'd like to do with the site as they have done for years. The town of Oyster Bay and the community, in our opinion, should not grant them this approval for many reasons, with the most important one being Home Depot's absolute and blatant disregard to follow any rules, regulations, zoning, code compliance, fire and safety, which has been their modus operandi for years on this site. They do whatever they please, whenever they want, with little to no visible repercussions or penalties, and it's safe to assume that this approval will only condone this behavior further. We have been complaining about this for years to the town of Oyster Bay and the fire department, and little to nothing has ever been done to clean up the site and enforce the law. The cost of a few violations does not transcend the sales volume and profit they likely earn because of their absolute and complete failure to follow the law, be a good neighbor, and for sure chalk up whatever few violations as the general cost of doing business. We have complained about these conditions over many, many years. We have sent letters, left countless unanswered voice messages to the town supervisor Saladino, and copied every council member, including but not limited to Mr. Saladino, Mr. Johnson, Imbrodo, Mr. Hand, Mr. Labriola, Mr. Scaler, Mrs. Mayor and Mrs. Walsh as well, to Mike Esposito, the code enforcement officer, and Matt Fernando, the town attorney. We have sent pictures and details of legitimate concerns with the way in which Home Depot uses the site and have asked multiple times for meetings in person or via phone. We were ignored at every single attempt by everybody. The town and Matt Fernando, the town's attorney, was sent correspondence including photo backup advising that Home Depot has generally expanded their outdoor sales area with garden centers, permanent outdoor structures, specifically more than a dozen outdoor storage sheds along the service road, storing substantial amounts of building materials and store fixtures and fencing, including broken fencing, all over their site, including in fire lanes, and stacked higher than what is reasonably safe. They have installed additional fencing all over the site. Most of it is broken. They have installed additional lighting, additional temporary irrigation off their building to service the garden center that is on the north side of the building, as well as a lot of sprinkler heads, high sprinkler heads, to service additional landscaping area that would be north of the green box that they're showing on that plan. And it's inconceivable to us, quite honestly, as to why the behavior is allowed to continue. The fire marshal seems to be in our building every few months to ensure we're following the rules and safety protocols are followed. As recently as Tuesday of last week, when I was there, and I'm going to share a bunch of pictures with you, that the fire connections on the southeast corner of the building were completely blocked by materials and garbage, which is clearly dangerous. And we'd also like to know that if an approval is given, is it conditioned on obtaining any variances? And if so, are we allowed to know what they are? And will Home Depot require any special use or other permits? And again, why can't they use the other building? In summary, they've been an awful neighbor, they've been a blight to the greater community, they've constantly shown no consideration, they don't follow rules and do as they please. While I will say that, you know, these pictures are the story of night and day, because I'll show you pictures from last Tuesday, I will admit that in the last couple of weeks, they've noticeably cleaned up the lot. And I'm sure it's part of the plan to get these approvals. And in closing, it's really been inconceivable to us as to why so little has been done to enforce the law and communicate with legitimately concerned high tax-paying neighbors. You know, I want to say thank you for listening to me, and I hope my words and opinion and experiences are being taken in the spirit which they're giving, and I'm requesting that my testimony and collateral photographs, if appropriate, be shared and entered into the official record. And what I would like to do, if it is okay with you, and I did not have, I wish I would have known, I could have done it digitally, but if it is okay, I would like to share some of the pictures that was an attachment to the letters that we had sent back in '22, and then I would like to share with you a lot of pictures that we labeled that we took on Tuesday of last week. These are from '22. If you can't see them clearly, I have a cleaner copy that I can show you. And then these are different pictures, and I'm happy to walk you through.
Are these copies that you need back?
No, you can have those. You can have those, and if you need more, let me know, and I'm happy to give you some more.
And then you're going to submit what you read?
Would you like a copy of
Yeah,
this? Sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. These are our, that's what I read. Is there anything else I could answer or discuss, or?
If I could just have you spell out your name.
David Rosen, R-O-S-E-N, it's right on the first paragraph.
Thank you.
And it's 33 South Service Road, it's right next door. All right, thank you. Appreciate your time, all.
No,
Mr. Rosen, before you sit,
yeah.
I'm just going to flip sides here. I serve as Deputy Commissioner for the department. I apologize for the inconvenience you've had over the past few years. What I will do is I'll give you my number. If you want to do a sit-down, I'll be more than happy to sit down with you.
Oh,
Yes.
I would really appreciate that. What
So-
is your number?
It's 516-624-6267. And if you want to give me a call in the morning, we'll set up a date and time. If you want to do early next week, we can go over whatever questions you have and whatever procedures you need.
I greatly welcome that. Thank
All right,
you
so
very, very much.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do these have to stay in any order because they're getting a little
No,
bit?
what I did,
They're getting a little
you
mixed up.
can mix them up. I know there's a lot of them in there, but I think
No,
you'll get the feel for it.
Okay, all right,
But
good.
what I did was I broke them into, you know, the front of the buildings, different sides of the building. But, you know, they're all labeled, so I think.
Okay, all right, good.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's where that's where his property is over there. Go ahead. You gonna-
I would appreciate it. I think we're having an open discussion about what we can do, and I think I'm hoping there's a concept here where we can go through what we discussed with you, modify the plans. We would like to see what these pictures look like, because obviously I'm hearing this for the first time. Again, I know our store operator will be hearing about this as well. Again,
You want to copy these pictures?
I don't need it today, but I think once we'll get it from the
Yeah.
record, yeah, I think that's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, well,
Tim?
Chairman, what we'll do is we'll get copies made from planning, and we'll get them out to your office. That's not an issue.
That's perfect, that's great.
You wanted to say?
I'm sorry, if you would like, I can give you the original copies from 2 years ago, and I can take the copy. I don't, the original ones, before I copy them, it's a much clearer to see.
So you want these back?
No, you can have,
Okay.
there's two sets. The one that's stapled together, that's the small thumbnails, the black and whites.
Okay.
If you could give those to me, I'll give you these, which are the color ones that the copies were made from.
Who has anybody have the stapled ones? Those? They're stapled? Oh.
They were
Apart?
clipped on together.
Oh, they were clipped together.
There we go.
Oh. Oh, what's the date?
4/22.
Yeah, those were all, that was part of the big package that was sent to.
Any more
town
422s up here?
Supervisor and council members.
No. These are for 924.
Yeah, well, just the pages that have the thumbnails, and you have one more of them up there, that's it. You got it. That's just one. That's it.
Yeah,
Yep, that just gave you
These are the better ones.
the ones I gave you.
Yeah, see, look.
But this was taken April 22?
Those were
I just
taken,
wanna mark it.
those were taken,
So
yeah,
they're not
they're
gonna
marked,
move anywhere.
I did not mark it on the top, oh, yeah.
But April 22, that's what
Those are
that 4/22
April
means?
22, everything else is from last week.
These are yours, Age.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Your pictures were good too, don't get me wrong.
Oh, thank you, I
You're-
appreciate it.
you're-
Picture's worth 1,000 words,
Yeah.
and then some.
Okay, did you want to,
I just wanted to add, I know that there was a lot said, there's a lot of exchanges tonight. I think we have a good idea of what the board would like us to consider. You know, we had worked, again, like I said, we worked with the planning department. We're hearing a lot more from this board. We will take that into consideration. We'd like to have the opportunity to do what you've said and make the best that we can of the site and improve it to something that is something the town would like to see.
If the board's amenable to it, what type of time frame are you looking at to come up with a new redesign?
Weeks, months, weeks. I mean, 2 to 3 weeks, I think that's appropriate. 3 would be preferred, because if there's a lot
really?
to do,
Give you,
unless you want to give me more, I mean, I would
Come on,
honestly say a
be honest.
month. If, be honest with us, to make it work, would, I think, be more appropriate.
I mean, if you want the board's meeting October 10th. Is it possible that you could be ready for an October 10th, if the board wants to do an adjournment?
I think to make this a constructive exercise, the first, the end of October or early November would be
November?
preferred.
We have a November meetings, yeah. I think that's, yeah, I think you're probably more realistic.
Yes, and then we can work with a few people,
And then
yes.
I think it's a good idea to.
I
sit
give him
down.
my card, so yes, we will
Good.
try to do that as well,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, if you open a dialogue, that would be great.
Absolutely, which can take care of a lot of things ahead of time.
I know that well.
Many times.
Yes.
Anybody else?
I mean,
Anybody else wish to speak?
If
Go
you
ahead.
wanted to check anyone else, maybe?
Anyone else wish to speak or entertain? No? If not,
Chairman, I'll make a motion that the hearing tonight be adjourned until November 14th. We'll ask for a continuation of the hearing to give an opportunity for the applicant to make improvements or changes to their site plan that the board could re-review and then entertain it that night.
so the hearing stays open?
The hearing will still remain open.
Okay.
It's being adjourned and being asked for a continuation on November 14th
Right, we
at
will,
at 7 PM.
And if you're not ready,
we will be, and we'll
Okay.
submit beforehand, so we don't, everyone
Okay.
sees this beforehand.
So a motion's being made that the hearing be adjourned and continued on November 14th.
is there a second?
Seconded by Member Chabina. So on a vote, Chairman Stanko.
Aye.
Member Di Leonardo.
Aye.
Member Chabina.
Aye.
Member Warner.
Aye.
Member Castellane. Member Zeich. The motion for the hearing to be adjourned and continued on November 14th carries, and I guess the board will reconvene that night.
Thank you, we appreciate
Okay.
your comments. Thank you.
Okay. And you'll put up, another sign goes up, correct? Or is that right?
I mean, technically, I mean,
No,
What's the
well,
tech-
technically, because it's a continuation, it's just going to be when I say advertised on the town's website for the Planning Advisory Board agenda.
right, because the date certain has been established, we don't need to post it.
Correct.
Okay.
I think he knows.
But your neighbor will know.
But we'll,
I'm sure he'll know, I
Mr.
know.
Rosen, you'll,
Yes.
November 14th, 7 PM would be that November meeting. If for any reason that's to be adjourned, we'll
did
make
you
a
get
combination.
his testimony?
I got it.
You got it,
Yep.
okay, all right, thank you.
I make a
All right,
motion
thank you.
to,
Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
So moved, okay. Let me tell you, this is a chance to make a good move, right? Good night. Feel good. Okay, good luck with your head there.
I know, Sig.
We hit almost everything. Huh? We hit almost everything. Yeah. Except one of it.
All right.